I did grow up in Libya, and I grew up in the city of Benghazi, which I'm sure you've only heard good things about. We are famous for our food and beautiful beaches and nothing else. And I remember I was supposed to go see a friend, and I get into my car, and by the time I got to my street corner, I saw a woman who just came out of nowhere, and she stood right in front of me, and she did this. And I don't know if you guys dabble in sign language. This means stop. And I was like, I was intrigued. I was like, I'll stop. I'll see what she wants. But then she ran to my car, opened the back door, and got in. And I was like, I don't think this is good. But then the door next to me also opened. And a guy comes in. He holds a knife to my face. And he says, "Drive now, please." I was like, I don't think you need to add the please. Like, at no point was I gonna be like, are you forgetting something? And he's like, yeah, please. I'm like, okay, we'll go now. Stupid. And I was so scared because in my head I was like, oh, I'm being kidnapped right now. Oh, this was the whole thing was a trick to steal my car, the woman and this man and everything. And I didn't know what to do because I was like, what's going to happen to me? And I was driving them, and then at some point I was like, oh, I need to break the tension a bit. So I just looked at them, and I was like, hey guys, so how do you know each other? And the woman said, I don't know who this is. I was like, what? I was like, I don't know who this is. I just wanted to get into your car so you can give me a ride, and this man just got in, and I was like, who are you? And he was like, well, I just saw her getting into your car. And I was like, oh, I should help. And I was like, have you helped people before? Why would you point a knife at me? And he was like, I don't know. I thought you won't move if I don't do that. I was like, you're stupid. You're a stupid person. Why are we doing this? And then the woman was like, my phone died. And I was supposed to call my husband to come pick me up. And then I saw you and I was going to ask you for a ride. And then this thing happened. I was like, this is so dumb. I'm just gonna drive them. I'm gonna put them, get them to where they want to, and I'm just gonna forget about this night. But then I get to the location they gave me. They both leave the car for some reason. The woman goes to her home. The guy's just walking with her, and then she knocks on the door. The husband comes out, and then he sees the other man, and they just start yelling at one another. They were just screaming because I'm sure he's confused. Who is this? What are you doing with my wife? So many questions, and I was there in the car just watching them. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Mohanad, you could have just driven away. But more than anything, I love drama. I'm like, I'm not going to leave with a cliffhanger. I got to see this thing through. And I was just literally watching this on the steering wheel. But then I got too close and I honked on accident. And then the husband sees me, and he runs back and comes out. Now he's holding a gun. He runs toward my car. He points the gun at me, and he's like, who are you, and what are you doing here? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I am in this story. I can't tell you. I can't even begin to explain. And then he said, should I shoot you right now? And I was like, what? He was like, should I shoot you right now? And I was so scared, so I said, when you say should, does it matter what I answer? And he was like, what? I'm like, well, you're asking me a yes or no question. Does it matter if I say yes or no? And then he replied, why are you making it weird? Oh, I'm sorry I'm making it weird. I'm just scared. And then he said, just go. And I never knew that you can survive death by being annoying, but this is apparently something you could do. And then I was about to go, and then the knife guy comes back, and he was so upset because he got yelled at, and he was like, just drive us home. And I was like, who's us? I don't even know your name. It's the worst night of my life. And I'm sure it's not going to get any worse. But then I started driving him back, and I was like, I'm just going to drop him to the spot I got him from. And then we got stopped at a checkpoint. And back then in Libya, a lot of these checkpoints were controlled by these religious, extremist militias. They were everywhere. And when I say extremist militias, I mean groups like ISIS. I'm not sure if you guys remember them, they kind of fell off. They used to be big on YouTube. Haven't posted in a while, and I think about them sometimes. Like, oh no, did they make it through the pandemic, Which I'm sure they did. Those guys famously wore masks. So I'm sure ISIS is doing fine. But then they searched my car up and down. I don't know what they were looking for. They couldn't find anything. And they were about to let me go. And then one of them was like, hey, before you go, I'm going to ask you something. And I was like, sure. Then he's like, who do you guys support? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, who do you guys support? Do you support us? Do you support them? And that's a hard question to answer. Like, I don't know if you're us or them, first of all. I don't know what to answer right now. You guys kind of like all dress the same. Like, I'm not to give you fashion advice, but it's weird. It's very weird. And he started yelling at me, and I was like, I don't know what to answer. So I just went with God. I was like, I support God. And then they were like, that's pretty dope. Actually, the whole brand here. Off you go. Good job. And they let me go. But the thing is, I drive that man back to where I got him from. Turns out he's my neighbor. I love my community so much, and he handed me a knife before he left. He asked me first, he was like, if you want to hang out sometime, I'm like, absolutely, would love to hang out. And then he said, you should keep this knife. And I was like, why? And I was like, you never know, this neighborhood is very sketchy. Like, oh, did something happen? Like, why are you saying that? I haven't seen that man since then. I think he's dead, I hope so. Life is a journey.